These are some sculptures that I made a long time ago, actually. They're my mer people. And you can see I did a lot of work on the tails. They're more detailed than I usually do. And here's another picture of them. You can see in this one of them has part of its tail broken off because they are very fragile. And then this is just a little dragon creature that I made with its tail curled up. And this is my pocket watch dragon with its suit coat and top hat and its gold watch. I really like this dragon. And this is my mama dragon. And she has oven mitts and a cookie sheet. And I don't know if you can see, but this tail spike acts as a sort of platter, and she has a mug of cocoa and some toast and a bowl of soup. And I purposely made the oven mitts really big, and they're big enough that you can put your thumb into one of her hands, which is cool. And then this is just...
Yeah, they should have. Did you text them?
What? And then this is just a skateboarding dragon with its tail as it skateboards along with its cap. And these are my two monkeys. One of them has glasses and a book, and one of them has a notepad and a pencil. And this is drawing. I called it my Inktopus. It's my profile picture here, as you can see. It has iridescent goat horns and bat wings and a pig snout, and it's drawing in its sketch pad and sipping from a cup of tea. I really like it. And then this is just another fantastical creature that I made up. I was trying to make it look very shiny, and I really like the way it turned out. And then this is my dragon in a sheep's costume. You know, you've heard the expression wolf in a sheep's costume. This is my dragon in a sheep's costume. It's very cute. And then this is just... It started out as a doodle, but it looks really cool. It's just a peacock feather with a teeny tiny little person sitting on it. And then this is from a story idea I had. And I tried to make this look like it was really just a flash of light. So that was fun. I did a lot of shading. And then this, this is made on scrap paper, so unfortunately the photo didn't come out so well, but this is my sunset serpent and my night sky serpent. And if you can see here, the eye is supposed to be the sun. So that was fun to draw. And then this is just a star person. It took a lot of time to shade in the whole page. But yeah, it was fun. And then this, I sketched this out and then I started to color it in, and it's just really cool the way it's turned out. It's very vivid. I used an enormous amount of colors on this. It took a lot of. And then this is a picture I made of my best friend. And it's all in blues and purples and greens. And it gives a very peaceful feeling. And I like that. And then this is another drawing I made of her. It's actually pen and watercolor blended. And then this is a picture of my other friend. Also with pen and watercolor. And I sent these to them as a Christmas present. Sent pictures of them. And then you probably can guess who this one is, but it's Mom. It's my mom. And I like it. She looks very yellow. And then this is a self-portrait I made, which I did with my left hand, which is my non-dominant hand. So that was interesting to do. And then this is just like a scribbly swirly thing that I colored in, and I like it because you can find so many different patterns, sort of, and it looks like you could just keep staring at it forever. And then this is it's a close-up of a sleeping dragon, and you can see the eyelid there. And I used a lot of, as you can see, I used a lot of shades of blue. It's really nice. And then this is just a little doodle I made of a creature. And then with this one, I was using negative space, and I colored in with ink all the way around these lines, and that was really hard to get that right, because after you color something in with ink, there isn't any way to go back and redo it. So I had to be very careful. And then this is a cutout that I made with just regular scissors, and I tried to make it look like there are clouds in the sky and the mountains and the trees and the fields. And it's interesting because I haven't really done that stuff before. And another self-portrait, this shirt design actually comes from a shirt I got from J.H. Huan. And this is just a little doodle I did. And then this is just a kind of fairylandish picture. Little fireflies. I put a lot of work into the shading on the chair and on these little bottles there. And I really like how it looks. And then with this one, it's interesting because I just kind of layered several drawings all over each other. You can see there's a person here, and there's a person here, and there's a hand here, and there's a person here. And it gives the picture a very interesting look. And then this is just a random person that I drew. It's very bright and vivid. And then this is just a person sitting in a tree, and I really like the way the leaves look. It has a very calm feeling about it. And that's it. So
Good. Thank you, Alice.
Oh,
Oh, it's absolutely great, Alice. They're absolutely wonderful.
remarkable, really.
Just magical. I could see you making a book with a story and pictures.
They're just beautiful. I love them all.
What,
thank you.
when you were doing this, what were the sculptures made out of?
Sculpey, which is just a kind of clay.
And did you bake them or are they just as you
Yes.
made them? Yeah, so they're permanent. That's great.
I love that you have both those incredibly whimsical, magical creatures and pictures, and also the self-portraits and portraits of your mom. It was a great collection. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love them. They're great.
What a range of talent you have, Alice Ray. It's really wonderful.
Nice.
I really like the person in the tree. I like the person in the tree. The last one was so beautiful.
That's
Thank
one of my
you, and
favorites.
all the others too.
I have a
Actually,
question for you, Alice May. I was wondering if you've studied with anyone, if you have a teacher, and also if you spend time looking at art. Do you have books, or have you been to art galleries or so on? How have you been training to do this work?
I mean, I kind of pick up teaching from everywhere. It's not, I don't have one specific teacher, but I definitely do get taught a lot.
University.
And I definitely look at art.
So Alice, I was wondering, in two of those paintings, there was a human in a wheelchair, and I wonder if there was a story about that. And I just have to say, I love your imagination and your boldness in exploring all sorts of realms.
Thank you. Yes, there is a story behind that, actually. I came up with this story idea a while ago, and it's rather complex, so I won't get that into it. But I meant for the wheelchair to look like it was made of glass, because this is a dreamscape that this is happening in. And the dreamscape is the place where the story is set.
Alice May, I couldn't tell if you were using silver and gold coloring or if it was just you were good at making the colors that you had look like silver and gold. Could you tell me which it was?
No, I just blended colors. Often, colored pencils that say they are silver or gold do not look in the least like silver or gold, which is annoying.
You're right, and that's why I wondered how you got it to work. Good job.
Sweet.
Alice, thank you. I'm thinking, go ahead, B, and then we'll, if you can stay, Alice, we'll have Leigh share her work, and then at the very end, we can do questions for both. So, but B, go ahead.
So Alice, I thought that I loved all of the work, but I thought your portrait of your mother, you really caught a likeness. I mean, it was quite extraordinary. Was she posing for you, or did you just...
This was at
Get more.
the thing. The name is slipping my mind. Mom, what's the name of the thing?
South Starksboro, the Christmas Sing.
Yes, the Christmas Sing, which we were attending on Zoom.
Uh-huh.
I did it on Zoom. Nobody invited.
We were invited.
Oh, we were. You didn't want to sing on Zoom.
And
yeah, Zoom sucks.
Zoom is good for so many things, but singing is not
like
one of
the
them.
one thing. It's terrible.
There's a bunch of people who are not muted.
Oh, is that us?
Great. Well, thank you again, Alice. It's just extraordinary to see so much of your work all in one place. And I think we'll ask you, Leigh, to present your work too now, if you're ready.
Okay. Are people seeing this now?
Not yet.
No. Still no?
Still no. Let me see if we can make you co-host, and if that would make it better.
Okay, let me come on back. So Cheryl, let me do one more try.
Oh, okay.
And then we'll have you, if you don't mind, using the slideshow I sent. Share screen. Are you seeing anything now?
Not yet. Are you on share screen? Are you on share screen?
I did share screen. So
Do you want to? Why don't you close it and start it again and see if that works?
Okay.
boy, Cheryl, this works so well when we try to.
It works out perfectly when we practiced, right?
Alrighty, okay, you want to go for it?
So we can see and hear her.
Yeah, but you're not seeing my slideshow, are you?
No,
No, okay.
just seeing your face.
Okay, so if Cheryl, if
I'm
you-
going to open up her slideshow on my screen and see if we can do it that way.
Okay. We practiced this.
I know it worked perfectly. We said,
It's
oh, we
beautiful, yeah.
didn't really need to do this, right?
So I guess while Cheryl's getting it up, I'm just gonna kind of explain a little bit. So what I have put together is kind of the journey I've been on for the past 3 months or so. Oh, good. Here we go. Okay. And everyone is seeing the other landscapes. Yes. Okay. So as I reviewed 2020, really the whole of it, and there were many losses for me. There were many losses for all of us with pandemic, and for me, my job situation changed. I lost my sister in February. I lost my son in September. I lost my job in July, and I've been in social isolation because of health concerns since March. So it's been just phenomenal. The year has been a time of loss, but it's also been a time of blessing. And it's been a time of growth through the grief, through the stripping down. And the presentation that I'm going to share with you, or Cheryl is going to be sharing with you, is an expression of some of the places the journey I've been on has taken me. So we could pop to the next slide. And I'm going to try hard not to cry during this. Baking sourdough bread was something that became an activity I did. My sourdough became a pet of sorts during the pandemic. And right before the Friday night before Labor Day, I don't know if any of you are doing sourdough, but it becomes a bit of an obligation as well as something really fun to do. But it was Friday night, it was before Labor Day, and I needed to do my sourdough. We have very, very hard water where we live, and to make it be crusty, I would always stick water in the bottom of the oven in a pan. When I took the sourdough out, it was amazing. The water had totally evaporated out, and these tracings, these marks that were left by the lime in the pan were like a completely different landscape. Zachary, my son, was one of my biggest art critics. I enjoy painting and working in different media, and I would send him things and he would give me really, really good feedback. So I took some quick photographs of the lime deposits and sent them out, and he was, oh, I love it. You're doing landscapes and they're not those boring landscapes. So this proved to be something that I definitely came back to. We can go to the next slide. This is a picture of sand tracings at Popham Beach in Maine, which is near Bath, near Bath, Maine. As a family, we spent many times there, usually staying in the Popham area off season. We would take long walks there. Zachary and his partner moved to Maine about 4 years ago. In Popham, Zach was a photographer and a graphic designer. So Popham and Reed State Park became really important to him as a man in his own art. We went to Popham, we went to Maine shortly after he died, and Gary, my husband, and I retraced um, paths we had taken as a family and paths that he had taken as a man. And it was pretty amazing. The day we went to Popham, the beach was covered with mist, with fog. And I found these amazing sand tracings that, again, looked like a different landscape. And so this informed some of the work that I went on to do. You could switch it. These are two close-ups that I did. Typically, I'm a painter. I typically work in oil, and I have a very, very colorful palette. I do a lot of landscape painting, although I've been expanding that lately. After Zach died, I really needed to process things visually. So these are two close-ups of a larger piece that you'll see in a moment. But this was quite monotone, and it was really informed by the lime that had been left in the pan with the new landscape, a different landscape, as well as the sand tracings from Popham. It's a very, very uncharacteristic style for me, and I was just sort of like, what on earth am I drawing? What am I doing? So I sort of did this piece and then stood back, and it felt very important to me, but it was also like really, really different. And you could go to the next one. So this is the whole piece. You saw two close-ups earlier. And it just really surprised me. I see sort of all sorts of things in it, and I see a lot of mystery and almost parts of the human body. The poem that I'm going to read next is actually a poem that I wrote a couple of years ago, but after Zach died, we had lots of crows coming to us. So Cheryl, if you flip to the next slide, that would be awesome. And I discovered this poem as I was going through things, and it really fit for the time I was going through, or still am going through. This morning my vision is smudged, foreground and background blur without light. I am left to imagine edges and parameters, a binary utopia of what is and what is not. One day, I know the might be will dance like shadow of feather, leaf, bud. The crows will gentle, light will be sown, a clear glass one day. And I was surprised to discover that poem and that it fit so well with what I found myself going through. Thank you, and you can go to the next. This is another landscape in oil with a limited palette. The undulations in it are soft, and it's a little bit like sand, a little bit like water. Nothing in it is very sharp or definitive, and it definitely brings me to sea and sand. And a lot of what I'm sharing with you is not terribly contrived or thought about. It's just kind of like, these were things that needed to be put on paper or board. This is oil and canvas. And you could go to the next one. And this is another landscape in oil. The red line that's in the middle is representative of life. The horizontal lines were inspired by the sand tracings, but they also suggest another place not fully known or understood. You could go to the next one, thanks. So in my work over the years, I've explored boundaries and the relationship of sky to water and water to land. The photographs taken here were during the visit we had at Popham, and it was pretty amazing. It was a Zach kind of day. He was always taking photographs of mist and fog, and these just really appealed to me. So the next few images you'll see are playing with that idea of a lack of sharp definition between places, between states of matter. You could go to the next one. This is an oil done on primed panel. In this, I wanted the viewer to be caught in the feeling of the place, in instance in time, and to look but not see where the sky stops and where the sea begins. And definitely Popham and the mist were a part of this. And you could go to the next one, please. This is an oil on canvas, and I originally painted this piece as the background for a piece with sparkles of light on water. There were going to be trees silhouetted in the foreground, but as I shared this with some friends, it was clear to me and my friends that the light bouncing in this image, and the photograph may not do justice to it, but the light and sort of the, again, non-definitive, whatever it might be, image, whether it's clouds or sparkles, it was a complete statement by itself. So during this past year of journeying, the beauty and mystery of the natural world has inspired me and has helped give me hope. And you could go to the next one. I just really had fun with this one. This was done in oil. This is on canvas. And I used oil sticks to do as a gestural tool. The sand tracings kept talking to me, suggesting there are other landscapes, places we don't fully know, places we don't fully understand. I've been learning the importance of trusting intuitively without necessarily having all of the answers or a clear, rational ideology for understanding everything that happens. And yeah, this was just like, there's still, you can go through horrendous, horrible times and there's still life. You could go to the next one. So in my journey, as grief has entered my life in many ways, the importance of staying connected to others has become really, really important to me. My relationships with people, as well as all other sentient beings, has been central to my health. This piece takes on some of the color I love working with and holds energy in it. This is oil and masonite, and it was both sort of this circle, and it keeps going, the energy of it, and then the fibers that interconnect everything. And you can go to the next one. One of the mediums that I have become acquainted with is alcohol ink. I've been working with that recently. So this piece is acrylic wash and alcohol ink on paper. And it's a mixed media piece. Oh, and I also use charcoal. But the idea of interconnectedness and the organic nature of interdependent relationships, as well as other explorations in landscape, has shifted from distant to more immediate. And you could go to the next one. This is two close-ups of the prior slide, and I just really had fun kind of playing with colors that were complementary. So popping orange next to turquoise and purple next to yellow, and circles and circles and circles. And my husband has decided they're all snails, but I'm not going there. I'm not saying they're snails. And you could go to the next one. So landscape, as I've said, is my more typical style. This is a piece I did on gessoed board using alcohol ink and gouache acrylic. As I did it, I made it mid-autumn, and it very much reminded me of a favorite place of Zach's and the whole family. We spent hours and hours and hours. We always call it Blueberry Hill, but it was really the blueberry management area on Hogback Mountain in Goshen, Vermont. And I feel like when Zach was a kid, we were there many different seasons, and he went back to bike there, to camp in different parts of Musulamu. And after his death, as a family, we kept going in late summer and early fall and late fall. And most recently, I don't remember the last full moon, I think it was at the end of December, we took a sunrise hike up there and we simultaneously saw the sun rising and the full moon setting. It's just a magical place. So that's where this came from. And you could go to the next one. I don't have my glasses on. I'm going to try and read this to you. This is a photograph I took of November and what November is like here. And this is a poem I wrote just in November. As honest as November. I will be as honest as November, as honest as her moon beaconing through a dark, cold night, mighty white through pine needles, silhouetted against the sky. November shrinks slowly into darkness, a monotone of woods and wetland, forest floors carpeted with Christmas ferns, eternal optimists, always green and hopeful. Miserly beech trees, auburn-colored leaves rustling, holding their leaves for as long as they can. I will be as honest as November as I stand before you, feeling colorless and tired. I have lost many people. I have lost many things, all deeply loved, with homes in my heart. Like November, I will see in black and white, shades of gray. I will walk on frozen earth. My bones will hurt and my feet will bleed. I will subsist on black tea and white toast. I will weep and rage and sit alone. I will be as honest as November before the sun again returns. We can go to the next one. Oops. This is a more recent landscape there were dark clouds and a burst of light coming through. This is oil on canvas, and this is one of the last pieces I shared with Zach. And he saw it before it was done. And I loved the honest feedback he always gave me. He said, "It's good, but it's not done yet." So I feel like I finished it, and I feel like wherever he is, he would be happy with it. You may go to the next one. So you can see I've made some movement in my process on my journey. This is a very recent painting I did. This is alcohol ink and a little bit of gouache acrylic. And it's really hard to present and read comments simultaneously. But thank you, people. I am reading comments. I appreciate it. So this is one of my recent ones. And sort of the bursts of flowers are sunlight and hope. There's still an autumnal palette in there with you know, russet and amber and orange and red. But you can also see sort of bits of the blue sky, the blue-purple sky, but there's hope. There's definitely hope here. And you could go to the next one, please. So when Zachary died, we were visited by crows. Usually there would be two that flew above us, Gary and I, on our hikes, or when we were in our yard in the woods. And a lot of times they would fly right over us where we were walking. Gary and I both felt like Zachary had sent the crows to us. As I looked up the symbolism of crows, I learned that in many cultures, crows represent communication between the worlds and transformation. They're messengers between this world and the next, and they signify transformation. I did a large charcoal drawing. This is a close-up of a portion of that drawing I did just a couple of weeks ago. And I'm going to close with the last poem called Wings. Wings. I have been issued wings, but I do not yet know how to fly. They are beautiful, these wings, iridescent, shimmering, made of steel, wire, and dragonfly translucence, but I do not yet know how to fly. And so I clank and clamber up mountains, sheer cliffs, craggy terrain. It is cold and hard and unfeeling. I perch on a precipice, surveying a landscape I know nothing about. Updrafts and funnels, thoughts and dreams of wind, torrents curling, spiraling, lashing out. Watching ravens, I learn the meaning of abandon, how to delight in being one with the atmosphere, the sighs and utterances of soul and spirit, how to fly with untested wings. Thank you.
Oh, Leigh, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I know people have been messaging you in the chat, but people are welcome to share thoughts and questions and gratitude.
Leigh, oh.
Somebody.
Why don't you go ahead, Rua?
Okay. So Leigh, it seems that your art and your poetry is very healing for you.
Yes.
It's really beautiful, but the healing comes from being in those lovely places too, isn't it?
Definitely, yes.
You really captured it. It's magical.
I was very much hoping tonight that if people came, that it wouldn't, the process I've been going through, the journey I've been on, has been terrible. I mean, it's been awful, but that's not all it's been. It's been amazing, and there has been, I don't know, I mean, I feel like it's been a transformative time, and there have been just beyond what I would typically understand moments of great beauty, of great peace, and connection. Connection to people, many people in this group, in this community, as well as friends and colleagues and neighbors, and that's kept me afloat.
Thank you so much for sharing it, because it is your very personal, difficult journey. It's brave to share that.
Thank you for giving me a safe space.
So I was extraordinarily struck by the sense of journey, both in what you shared verbally and what you shared in the work. And also being an artist and a writer, my whole self opened up to you. I think it's pretty interesting for those of us that have creative processes, although other people do it in other ways, that there's a way of being able to stay close to the bone of what is actually most deeply occurring within one, and also to be part of the expressive process. And I feel that the work that you made is extremely powerful, extremely sensitive. I don't know if you've thought of putting the poems and works in a book, but side by side, they're really beautiful. And I just want to thank you for the honesty and the courage that you've had to really follow your feelings. I thought the poems were exquisite as well as the work. Thank you. It's been a great gift because I'm going through a lot of transitions and changes myself, and thankful to have the poetry and the work for expression. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for the beautiful presentation, Leigh. And I like seeing you smile so much. I do. And I think it's amazing that you can even do the painting if you are going through this journey. It's almost like the journey would stop the creative artwork, almost like it would, or even the poetry. It would be so easy to sink into something deeper, but you have come through it, you know, and it's very encouraging and heartening. So thank you.
Thank you very much. In the very beginning, some of this process has been fairly devastating, and it has been a stripping away process. I talked to Zach shortly after he died, and he was an amazing person, and he was full of energy. He lived life so fully, and this whole thing was sort of an unthinkable, unimaginable experience. And I kind of had a talk with him, and I was like, okay, I can either just like go to bed and stay there and stop, or I can, if I'm going to try to live in a way that does honor to you and your life, I will keep living, and I will feel the pain and go through that, but continue to live and not shut my eyes to beauty and not harden my heart to other people. And that's that was kind of a really important decision, I think, near the very beginning of this horrendous experience.
About November is really remarkable. It's true. It's very honoring. You saw the Christmas ferns too. It's like Christmas is coming, right? Something wonderful is going to come eventually. That was beautiful. And the whole presentation has been very moving.
Thank you.
I have loved seeing the two of you present together, and there was such great joy. You both would say, oh, I really liked this, or I had fun doing this one, but also telling us as we were doing it about the mediums that you were using, and just I so appreciated both of you doing that for us.
I have to say, on Alice May, I don't know if I see your tile. I see your dad's tile there, but I really, really loved seeing Alice May's work ahead of time and her whimsy and sense of magic. So I really appreciated that as well.
Thank you so much. Your paintings, your drawings are beautiful.
Thank you.
Your poetry.
So, friends, thank you all for being here. It does feel like it's a really safe and supportive place for us to learn more about each other. I just so appreciate your willingness to share not just the photos and the poetry, but also that story. And I was struck by how many people have been talking about journeys this year. I think our very first presentation was B doing Journeys on the Wheel, and then Tom Basket talking about journeys. So I guess we're all making many transitions this year.
Well, I feel so grateful to have this community. I feel that we're very, very fortunate to have each other. It's an exceptional group of ordinary, extraordinary people. So thank you. I appreciate you in my life. Thank you.
And I was thinking about the comparison between Sarah's refugees and the boats, and Alice May's the mer people going down the road. Oh, that's cool. And then the lights, when you were doing that one, Leigh, with the light on the water that was going to have the pine trees, but it didn't, and some of the lanterns and kites that Wynn shared with us.
Thank you, Cheryl, for asking me to participate in this.
Thanks so much for doing it, Alice May. And it doesn't have to be the only time. So as we go forward, I was interested to hear you say, Annie, that when you do a presentation of your artwork, think about doing that for us. And Mimi's going to be sharing her work and also her sister Betsy's work at the last Thursday of the month this month. So please look forward to it. Have a safe, wonderful night, everyone.
Thank you.